So I'm out in this small community east of Chicago, believe it or not. Beautiful little place. Um, Indistinguishable from most small towns, I would think, other than the fact that it's freaking amazing. But I'm out here at the end of my low budget Appalachian adventure. And I may actually have another one because it didn't cost me any money. But I'm hanging out with a buddy up here, doing some work for him, gathering some money. And I just wanted to talk about the thing that keeps popping up. The question that people keep asking me about budget. They want a number. And it's up to this point, even on my low budget motorcycle adventure in 2022, I never really came up with a number because the numbers fluctuated. And it was low budget for me, but a lot of people got upset. Well, I know at least a couple of guys said, that's not low budget, you're spending too much money. And I was like, well, what's your number? Now I have a concrete number for you. On this last adventure, I was spending, and some people might not like this either, but I was spending about $8 to $15 a day on food. So that's the one thing that I can control, in addition to how fast I travel. So if you want to add a number to that, it depends on how much you want to travel. And people don't really get that. If you're blazing 600, 800 miles a day, and I've done that before, you're going to spend a lot more money than somebody like me that might be traveling 60, 120, 200 miles a day. So it really depends on a lot how fast you travel, how often you travel. I enjoyed this last trip. It was pretty slow. On the days that I did move, we're talking an extra $15 a day, maybe 20. But you know, I didn't blaze a lot. I just didn't get on the bike and just go, go, go. So I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed my time outdoors, and I spent probably a little bit less than I normally spend at home on food. And this is not steak. I'm not eating steak. I'm eating food. And typically I was only eating 1 or 2 meals a day, so it's going to be more for people that's got to have 3, 4, 5 meals a day and got to have eggs and steak and all that stuff. But that was not me. I was eating, I wouldn't say terrible food, but it was low budget food, you know, easy, simple meals that I could cook at camp. And the number for me was $10 to $15 a day. So if you add that number into whatever you think an average length of time you're going to be riding every day, add that number to your fuel mileage, and then on top of that, add some maintenance cost, you know, chain, lube, tires, brakes. I just replaced the brakes on my bike today. Add those costs in there, and you will have a better picture of the people that don't travel for weeks and months at a time. It should be real easy for you to go, okay, well, I like 3 meals a day. Well, let's throw $20, $25 at it. If you can eat for $8 to $15 a day like I did, then just add your fuel in there, and you've got a number that you can work with. And at the beginning of this video, I said, hey, I'm done with the Appalachian venture, but I may go back through the Appalachians on the way back home, and then I would like to think that I've got enough time and resources and money to travel out west again this year. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I learned a long time ago from a world traveler. I'll leave a link below somewhere to his video, the interview I did with him. World traveler, it kind of blew my mind. I was like, how do you afford to do this, man? You're going around the world. Every year he went around the world on his motorcycle, his incredible motorcycles that he took. And I asked him the question, Doug, man, how do you do it? How do you afford? Because he didn't look like he was rich. He looked like a regular American. Like, I don't want to say poor. He's probably got plenty of money. He's just not spending it on the gaudy crap. But he sure as shit had plenty of motorcycles. But I said, Doc, how are you doing it, man? How do you afford to go around the world every year? Because that seems like $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. And he's like, nah. I mean, I just turn all the stuff off that I have at home. You got those bills that you have at home, less the stuff that you turn off. And you got the same bills that you got every day: food, travel, expenses of moving your machine from one side of the country to the other. And it really kind of shocked me. I was like, I've never heard this before. Nobody's ever said you can travel just as cheaply as you can stay home. It's like, that's just the most bizarre thing. But in the States, it's absolutely true. And especially if you're not spending $60 to $100 on a freaking piece of dirt to sleep on, or $150 to $250 a night for a hotel, you can certainly travel on a low budget and almost no budget. I mean, think a month for less than $500. There's very few people that share those numbers, but I figured it was time. You can do it $8 to $15 a day, because I've done it. I didn't eat the best. I didn't stay, well, I don't know. Pretty much everywhere I stayed, I was pretty excited about. So I had a blast. You can go back and watch the stuff if you haven't seen it all. I haven't even finished the whole adventure yet, but anyway, what's out there, what I'm doing is possible. You just have to do the numbers yourself. Play with the numbers. If it's, if you got to have more, yeah. If it's if your numbers, you can't eat for less than $25 a day, then add that to what do you think you're going to travel in a day. Go out for a weekend and see what you spend. It's a lot easier to figure out a budget than you think. There's going to be some difference from what you see on a weekend and what you see in a week or a month, but it's going to be not a great change. It's not going to be a great difference. If you have in your mind what that number is, or if you can get close to that number, you can budget for a month if you've got the time. And that's always, do you have a little bit of money, and do you have some time that you can spare to get out there and not be making money? And if the answer is yes, then go out there and have an adventure. It's a whole lot easier than you think, but you got to start 3 or 4 days at a time. If you can't do 4 days, you can't do 4 months. It's pretty simple. That's it. I just wanted to give everybody a solid number that you can work with. And it's not even solid, because it depends on how fast you want to drive. How fast do you want to ride? How fast do you want to go somewhere? How much gas does your bike suck down versus mine? What kind of eating do you like to do? Do you have all the stuff? Do you have all your gear? If you don't have the gear, if you're not ready to go, maybe work on that before you pull the plug and get out here and have a fantastic time like I have for the past few weeks. See you out there on the road.